I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com. What's poppin', y'all? While everybody's kicking Drake's back in, and he's fighting back, he's trying to put up a fight, Ebro, one of the biggest haters, I respect Ebro's hating though, he goes on to say one of the funniest things ever. I'm going to try to play the clip for you guys so you can really hear what he said. If I can't, then I'll just end up reading the quote.
Drake is not that important. The reason Drake's in this is because he is a sickness in the game. It could have been any artist. It's what Drake represents. We've been saying this for months. People love Drake. They love his music. We love his music. He's beloved. He's not willing to go rip his soul from the bottom and do ayahuasca and look himself in the mirror as Kendrick had prescribed to him. On what song was that? Euphoria? No.
Seems like it's about Drake, but continue.
No, but it's about what the game does to someone who's trying to dominate it.
Right. So the quote says, it has more than one meaning for sure. But once again, going back to the whole thing, did it get personal? Yes. Was it specifically between Kendrick and Drake? Yes. Drake is not that important. The reason Drake is in this is because he is a sickness in the game. It could have been any artist. It's what Drake represents. We've been saying this for months. People love Drake. They love his music. We love his music. He's beloved. He's not willing to go rip his soul from the bottom and do ayahuasca and look himself in the mirror as Kendrick had prescribed to him. Why is this ayahuasca a thing? It's about what the game does to someone who's trying to dominate it. That's the moral of the story. He's waffling. And then goes on to say, Drake has decided to play the game in a way where he went from the suburban kids who lived with his mom, and all of a sudden now you've got mob ties and bullet holes in your sweatshirt with smoke coming out the back. Can't argue that. Where Kendrick was trying to be more true to his origins and what is important to him. What was important to Drake was the money, chart dominance, co-opting other styles into his style. That was his thing, and he was very successful at it, and that came with the price tag, versus the other guy who also had a price tag with the route he chose. This is a fair and nuanced take in the latter half. But when he says that, I think Drake's interests are just wider than Kendrick Lamar's. Because whilst Drake did debo some styles, like for example, Ram Riddles, he just took his sauce and didn't really give him much back. Although Ram Riddles could have capitalized better, you could say. But for the most part, whenever Drake messes with somebody, he elevates them. He elevated Smiley, he elevated the dance hall influence that he had, and we have to keep in mind that Drake is from Toronto, so regardless of where he grew up within Toronto, he was listening to the music where there's heavy Jamaican influence in that region, more so than the majority of America. So they're listening to that type of stuff. Same thing in the UK. You can hear it there as well. But Ebro goes on to address this on X and says, the inability to admit excessive materialism, excessive partying, and women and not evolving from your 25, 30-year-old self is a sickness, ... And I replied to this. My whole take on this is Ebro is relatively consistent, although this is the majority of hip-hop, and this is what the consumer is reacting to. If Drake decided to make some Kendrick Lamar music, which is, people would clown him for it. They'd be like, yo, you're not eligible or qualified to talk about this. What are you doing? Yet they want to criticize him for... Drake is very personal in his lyrics. That's one thing where I don't get, open your heart out. The guy talks about public relationships he's had, L's he's caught, L's that we didn't know about. He's very personal in his songs. But they're trying to compare him to something that he's not, which is Kendrick Lamar. And the whole excessive materialism, partying, and women is... A lot of that is hip-hop. Not only hip-hop, but a lot of that is what appeals to a wide audience, regardless of age. Like we got 2 Chainz, who's older than Drake. We've got Wayne, who's older than Drake. We've got, who else could I possibly name? Rick Ross, who's older than Drake. All of these people rap about that stuff. It's been a thing for, 30, 40 plus years, and it's been dominating for at least the past 15 to 20 years. So Ebro has this idea where he believes, because for him to say all of this is a sickness, he believes that you should and you ought to evolve, and his definition of evolve is to move past this stuff. And that's all and good for Ebro in his personal life, but to prescribe that to the entire genre and say that's what it should be is just incorrect, because that type of music doesn't make money. People want to pretend like Kendrick Lamar is purging this sickness, and that's one of the most irritating things to hear, because, and I said this too, and I've said this in the past before the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. If Kendrick Lamar was so influential, why haven't we gotten artists that are like him? We've gotten bigger artists have come out that are bigger than Kendrick Lamar's. I don't know if you want to call it copycats, which there aren't any copycats we could think of. But JID came under J. Cole. JID is bigger than anybody underneath Kendrick Lamar. And if you want to call Baby Keem underneath Kendrick Lamar, sure, JID has had higher heights solo without a J. Cole feature on his own songs than Baby Keem has had. But Baby Keem makes this type of music, and he's young, which is all well and good. But Baby Keem doesn't make music similar to Kendrick Lamar in topic and sound a little bit. So where is that guy? If people are tired of this sickness, where's the cure? The cure should be everywhere. And artists should be rewarded for this, but they're not, because the market doesn't reward them for it. And this is the difference between people like Ebro that are arrogant. True, genuine arrogance. And he's been like this. Like when Uzi Vert first came in the game, SoundCloud guys, 2016, he was hating on damn near everybody on that list. And he was saying, yeah, these guys suck. They're not going to be here. Well, they're still here. And not only are they still here 10 years later, almost 10 years later, the majority of rappers that preceded them 10 years ago didn't have a career that lasted as long as them. So what are we doing here? And in my opinion, when I give my opinion, a lot of the time I'll say certain music sucks. Like, for example, Laserdisc sucks. That guy stinks. You like him, and that's what makes you like his music. The music is garbage. However, for an individual like Netspend, which I make fun of his music here and there, a lot of it sucks, but some of it is just not for me. So I can open my mind to understand, okay, this demographic is going to enjoy this type of music. They're going to like this type of imagery, and that's for them. And I'm not going to tell them that there's something wrong with them because I don't like it. Do you see how arrogant that is? It's like, nah, I have the right prescription of what's good, and you must listen to that. No, that's just not for me. Like, for example, a lot of Kendrick Lamar's music, his catalog, it's just not for me. I acknowledge Kendrick Lamar is a great rapper, but I'm not spinning Kendrick Lamar tracks as much as I'm spinning J. Cole tracks, or Drake tracks, or Ye tracks, or J tracks, or DMX tracks. He's not getting as much play as the rest of them to me. Does that mean I think he sucks? No. Does that mean I think there's something wrong with his music? No. And that's the same thing with the majority of the audience. The majority of the audience wants to hear the excessive materialism, partying, women, especially with hip hop. Hip hop is aspirational. A lot of it is, yo, these guys have what I don't have. And sometimes it's kind of weird because they're like thirsting over other people's girls, which is very, very odd to me. And they're kind of fanned out about another man in a way where they're like, man, look at this guy. He's got the braids on and he's got the jewelry on. It's like, all right, chill, man. You can like the guy's music, but you basically got him up on your wall like that meme of Dexter when he's damn near praying to the wallpaper image, that meme template. So Ebro here is just being Ebro, but it shows you the level of delusion of these Kendrick stans. And Ebro is somebody that heralds Kendrick. The only person I think that slobs on Kendrick's meat more than Ebro would have to be Peter Rosenberg. Peter Rosenberg to Kendrick Lamar is what academics is to Drake. And it's ironic because they like beefed with each other. Even Lupe Fiasco was sitting in an interview with Peter Rosenberg and he's like, dude, you're gobbling this dude up. What is wrong with you? And people can have whatever take they want about Lupe Fiasco versus Kendrick Lamar. That's neither here nor there. I know my opinion is correct on that one. I hope people were able to catch that. If they weren't, it is what it is. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. I think people just want this idealistic version of hip-hop, which never existed, by the way. Not commercially successful, at least. Maybe in the inception, but in the inception, the majority of the people weren't making any money. So you want it to be commercially viable and also hold these certain principles that you value, and you want them from Drake? Huh? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.